Whenever the thought comes up of, what if I'm a narcissist? She would then immediately think to herself, no, I'm not going to go down the path of that OCD bubble. That's just the OCD talking. Hello, hello, and welcome to part 3 of this narcissism series. Today, we're breaking down how to stop the narcissism fear cycle. In the past 2 episodes, we've talked about how conscientious, sensitive, overthinkers find themselves stuck in this fear cycle of worrying that they're a narcissist as if somehow they've been a narcissist all along. Like, ha, told you were a narcissist. So I'm going to give you 3 specific techniques that can help you in breaking the cycle. Now, remember, this is not a substitute for professional or medical advice. I'm just sharing general information about what I've seen work for other people. So let me tell you about Candace, who is a very well respected professional. She does a lot of briefings. She's got a government job, and she has spent years in this type of spiral. And because of her high ranking position, she feels like a narcissist if she leads meetings or if she tells people what to do. But that is also part of her job. So it's really become quite a struggle. And she's now gotten to the point where she can't sleep. It's like she'll wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, her mind is racing because she is overanalyzing what she said during the meeting the day prior. She's thinking about, what can I do on this next project coming up? So it's like round and round she goes, and she can't get back to sleep. Then she's showing up to work tired and she feels moody. And let alone just that morning routine of getting ready, it's like she's trying to ease her anxiety, but she can't step out of this nightmare essentially. And she's scrutinizing everything that she's putting on, like, do they think I want attention? And then on goes the day. She's in a meeting. She's starting to lead the meeting, share her contributions. Then it's that mental spiral again of, did I talk too much? Am I talking too much about me? Am I leaning in enough to what the team members are saying? Did I give them enough compliments or feedback? All those mental gymnastics are exhausting. Are you a high achieving woman who's constantly tormented by those what if questions about your relationship? Do you lie awake at 3 a.m. wondering if he truly loves you, or if you're just settling out of fear of being alone? Hi, I'm Erin Davis, and I know firsthand how exhausting the overthinking can be. Imagine no longer having to analyze every text, every look, every moment of doubt. Imagine waking up confident, clear, and secure in your relationship, knowing that you can fully enjoy your love and succeed in every aspect of your life. In my one-to-one relationship clarity intensive, we work together to cut through the clutter of relationship OCD and constant reassurance seeking. Pinpoint your unique patterns of doubt and anxiety so you can break free from the endless cycle that's been holding you back. Confidently make relationship decisions without racking your brain for certainty. This is your chance to gain lasting confidence in as little as 8 weeks. Click my link in the bio to sign up now when you're ready to stop drowning in doubt and finally experience a relationship that feels full of life. And go to livebeyonddoubt.com/link-tree. So if you find yourself in a similar boat, just know that this anxiety, this narcissism fear, is a resemblance of the OCD cycle. You'll be very surprised at how much falls under the OCD category. Let's talk about 3 techniques that really helped her find peace of mind, build her confidence, and help her feel happy again. First of all, whenever the thought comes up of, what if I'm a narcissist? She would then immediately think to herself, no, I'm not going to go down the path of that OCD bubble. That's just the OCD talking, because there's no evidence that she is a narcissist. She would bring herself back to reality and not get hooked into the OCD bubble, because she's recognizing that's the OCD's imagination. And the OCD's imagination can make up anything and everything. And she wasn't going to allow it to take up time, energy, and space in her brain anymore. The next thing Candace did was she identified where she was getting reassurance, aka like compulsions. From there, she is making a list of all the compulsions where she is getting reassurance that she's not a narcissist. This was things like researching narcissism online, taking personality tests, asking others if they thought she was selfish, or asking her mom, for example, of, do you think this was okay that I said this? Or she was comparing herself to other people who seem narcissistic, okay? And so with all of that reassurance seeking, The goal is to delay, skip, and decrease. She committed to identifying when she did these compulsions first and starting with researching online. That was the first thing she cut out. And by doing that, that already freed up some mental space. And think about like how that feels whenever you're no longer spending time in a place that makes you anxious. And the more time you spend in it, the more anxious you feel. And that's such a trick because you think you're trying to solve it to feel better, but it doesn't work in that way at all. It actually backfires. She committed to the process of delaying, skipping, and decreasing those compulsions in that list I outlined earlier. So when you're looking for that support to really get down to the nitty gritty of like, well, how do I stop? How do I stop myself? Join my coaching programs. Go to livebeyonddoubt.com, check out my coaching programs, and get started with something today. The longer you wait, the more these patterns become ingrained, and you don't need that in your life. I've worked with women, even in their 60s, who are like, I've never known how to deal with my OCD before, and it got so bad, I just couldn't take it anymore. Moving on to technique number 3 is practicing intentional uncertainty because you are changing your relationship with uncertainty. Instead of trying to prove that you're not a narcissist, practice sitting with the uncertainty. Now, that may sound very painful and excruciating. I promise you, you're stronger than you know. What can be helpful too in practicing this uncertainty piece is doing exposure scripts. Okay. So you would say things on repeat until your anxiety comes down by half. So you might say something like, I might be a narcissist and never know, or I do manipulate people sometimes, or I don't actually care about anyone. So you could say these things in like first person on repeat. Notice what happens and continue to repeat it until you no longer feel anxious about these statements. And keep it very focused. I only recommend 2 to 3 sentences so that you can stay focused on that single topic. So then every time the fear arises about what if I'm a narcissist, you can use the technique of not going into the OCD bubble. You can use the technique of delay, skipping, and decreasing the compulsions, and you can use the exposure scripts. So those are like a high level overview of the techniques. But within just a few weeks of implementing these techniques, Candace noticed a significant difference in her happiness and how she felt and just her like boost in energy. Even though these thoughts still appeared, they no longer catastrophized or derailed her entire day. Through our work together, these thoughts became disarmed. They were no longer powerful or emotionally charging to her. Next, I'm going to outline that inner voice, that internal dialogue that tries to make you believe that you're a narcissist. And I'm going to show you the tricks that OCD does so you are no longer fooled. Be sure to catch that episode because these tricks are epic. You don't want to miss it, and you no longer want to be played like a fool by your OCD any longer. And until then, stay blessed by the best.